Hi, everyone. I figure since we're reaching towards the end of the semester, I should go over the rubric for the final essay. This is a version of the rubric that I've been giving out all semester long in the essay prompts, but I'm actually putting specific points on each category that I'm grading you on. So let me just go over it with you. First off, it's divided by 3 sections, 50 points each. I don't want to make anything worth more than another. I'm not going to say that mechanics is worth less than everything else. It's not worth, I don't feel it's worth as much, but it's also, these are the things where you're showing that you could follow directions. It's also organized by organization, meaning is your paper structured so that somebody can follow along? And then finally, critical thinking. Does your paper actually answer the question, and does it explore the topic in details? But to get more specific, for mechanics, proofread carefully so sentences are clear and free of errors. So this is pretty obvious. You shouldn't have that many grammar errors. If you've been turning your papers in throughout the semester, you will have seen me point out a lot of your grammar errors. Your job was to fix those rather than just let them sit there and be okay. Like that's enough. Nope, your job was to fix them. This is where you could end up losing a lot of points because, again, if you've been making the same exact mistake on the same exact sentence for 3 essays in a row, and this is your 4th one, I'm going to subtract 4 points for that one mistake. So that becomes kind of a huge issue. Let's see here. Follows MLA formatting, including use of quotation marks when including an author's exact words. Also remember that within the quotation, like if you're quoting and there's a quote within that quote, that should be single quotation marks. Parenthetical citations. This is a big one. This is one of the key aspects of this class. I've been very subtly telling y'all regularly, hey, I need page numbers. I need the author's name. I need that stuff. Only now, this is for real. So make sure that you're putting those in. And that's after every quote. There should be parentheses. And normally the author's name and page number. Don't do the PG and number, just author's name, page number, no commas. Review the MLA guide at the library under the research tab if you need more details on that. Parenthetical citations, a works cited page. We went over this. Those people that went in lab and stuff, y'all saw me do this. If you watch the videos, y'all saw me do this. Works cited page is necessary to give credit for those people that did the work. And if you don't give them credit, you are plagiarizing. So this is kind of a huge thing. Paper setup, including font size, etc. This is another one where I've been correcting y'all subtly and saying, hey, I changed the format, pay attention to it. If you weren't paying attention to it, this is where it's going to bite you in the butt. And then paper is the appropriate length, 10 to 12 pages, not including the works cited page. Some of y'all might freak out and go, that sounds like a lot. It is not. If we have been incorporating everything that we've written all semester long, that 10 to 12 pages is not much. In fact, in a couple of my classes, I've had students turning in like 20-page papers already for essay number 2. Were they great? No, but they were like well on their way to being great. So yeah, and those are just the students that have been following along with the class and stuff like that. So 10 to 12 pages is not that much. And if you're not there yet, this might be hard, but it's doable because we've done so much as a class together. Organization. Organization is basically, does your paper progress? Presents ideas in an order that makes sense to the reader with obvious signal phrases, speed bump sign / speed bump signs, guiding the reader through the following sections. we talked a lot about transitions. You've had multiple assignments about it. The notes to paragraphs is all about transitions. Test structure is all about transitions. The reverse outlines, which we've done a bunch of times, that's about transitions, and making sure that your paragraphs are telling the reader what they're supposed to be doing. Operational definition, we talked about this. I need a moment in your paper where you say student failure is, or like you could start getting more specific where you start saying like identity threat is. There needs to be a moment, a few moments actually, where you define the terminology that you're using and how you're using it. Again, we've talked about this. There's a review section. This is where you explain what the problem is as far as why students fail. And you should be explaining it deeply, not just pointing, no, they fail there, and they fail there, and they fail there. But really why they fail is a kind of a big issue, or how they are failing. Analysis, where you solve the problem, you say that they fail here, and then this is how to fix that specific problem. Boom, they're together. And then conclusion, telling the reader what they are supposed to do next, meaning me. What am I supposed to do with this information? Do I just let it sit there, or do I do something? Do I change how I teach? Yeah. Opens with an introduction that engages and conveys overall focus of the paper. So some of us are still focused on doing those high school level introductions. They'll get by in this class, but just remember, introductions kind of have three parts. They have the hook, which is where you're supposed to be engaging the reader, and then they have the background, meaning like what the paper is going to be about. There's normally a section, the way that we've been doing it, there's a section where you go from your own story to how it affects students like you, or how students like you or other students who are like you have gone through similar things, and then you expand it out that way. And then finally, the thesis. You have those 3 points. Body paragraphs have a clear focus. This is that topic sentence thing. If you have multiple topic sentences in a body paragraph, that means that it does not have a clear focus. So when we're doing the highlighting, when I was highlighting your paragraphs early on in the semester, the reason for that was if you had a bunch of yellow randomly in your paragraph, that meant that you were going off topic. I grade on that specifically. Again, this is one of those moments where I'm like, I will tell you regularly and over again, hey, this is off topic, this is off topic, this is off topic, in the hopes that you will recognize the problem and fix the problem, so that when things are finally graded like correctly and accurately, you'll be fine, versus me raising your stress level and saying you're wrong and you're losing points right now for it. Fix it, focus on the problem, learn from the problem, and fix it. Yeah, paragraphs are a reasonable length, 1/3 to 1/2 a page. For the most part this semester, this has been okay. Not a lot of students have been sending me those monster page and a half paragraphs. I hate those. You know you don't like reading those. Don't do that to me. If you don't want to if you wouldn't want to read something like that, then don't make other people read something like that. That's messed up. Uses specific details, information from it, examples, details, or information from at least 2 assigned texts. By examples, I mean quotes. By details or information, I mean quotes. You are supposed to be interacting with the text. We've been working on this all semester long, and it says from at least 2 assigned texts. We've read a bunch in the class. We read Tough. We read Steele for my English 101. We read Kendi. We also watched a bunch of videos. So we have a lot of text. I just need 2, minimum 2 incorporated. You can find a bunch of other stuff that's totally fine, but I need at least 2. Uses specific examples, details, information from at least 2 academically researched texts. This is for my English 101 class. My English 100, you don't need to incorporate this stuff. But 2 academically researched texts. I know we did 3. That's basically saying that all 3 might not work out, and that's fine. That's actually, it's actually intended. I want you to find stuff and put only what works in, not just what you found. Explains evidence fully enough for the readers to follow along. This is something that everybody works on in general, and it's something that, again, this is one of those low-key moments that I've been working on with you all semester long, specifically in support and tie-in. Just saying, hey, you're missing this, or hey, can you go further, or hey, this is a misreading. This is where you're actually being graded on it. And then critical thinking is the last section, discusses the complexities of the issue and does not make things seem simpler than they are. A lot of students like to do what's called the closest cliche syndrome. And it's where you say a point and then you try to just dumb it down as far as possible to the point where it doesn't make any sense. Like you'll go like stereotype threat affects a bunch of students, and you go through all these details and then you go, so there's good and bad students everywhere. If there's good and bad, that just means that there are students. You actually have said nothing. If you say that there's good and there's one, it might be one, it also might be the other, or it depends on the situation. Yeah, I know it depends on the situation, but I want to know what's happening in this situation. So yeah, I need you to make sure that you are not trying to avoid explaining by making things more simple. I want you to actually jump into the complications of stuff. Answers the prompt questions in a clear thesis statement, whining. Within, it's supposed to be within. Let me change that. Within the first couple of paragraphs. Yeah, answer the question. I need you to answer the question. This is kind of a huge deal. Why is it doing that? Nope. Anyways, yeah. Within the first few couple paragraphs, this would go after your narrative, or it can be part of your operational definition. But the video that I posted last time about the essay organizer, that goes through your thesis. Let's see here, responds to the prompt with fact-based evidence. If you're doing test structure, you're going to be fine. You're not going to answer the question and just tell me how you feel and write your heart out. That's not what we're asking you to do here. We're asking you to do academic writing. I love your personal stories. I think that your personal journeys are important. However, that's not what we're doing. So don't make me try to choose between your personal experience and, evidence. I'm going to choose the evidence, unfortunately. Personally, I'll be like, oh man, that's jacked up. But on paper, where it counts, I'm going to say like, nope, you messed up. So yeah, responds to the prompt with fact-based evidence, uses a critical voice to connect different parts of the paper together. This is what we've been working on for the last couple of weeks, is making sure that things are building and they're connecting. Your review should be answered by the analysis. It should not be a loose collection of paragraphs. It should be of like building blocks or bricks leading up to the point. So if you tell me students fail because they feel insecure, totally fine. So I need you to tell me all the different ways, like what do you mean by insecurity? And you're going to use a bunch of evidence explaining what that insecurity is, and all of that, and how that insecurity leads to student failure. And you just, that's the review. And then the analysis is going to say, okay, so I talked about how insecurity led to student failure. This is what you can do to minimize that insecurity. Now, it should be a one-to-one thing. You brought up insecurity and all the ways that it causes students to fail. You got to deal with them in the analysis too. And that's where the critical thinking is. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll see y'all later. Bye.